Kalsubai Peak is the highest peak in Maharashtra. Cliffs in this peak will amaze any adventure lover. In monsoons, these mountain ranges are rich in numerous waterfalls. These hills and cliffs will immerse in fog as the rain subsides. Underneath here, it's a beautiful valley of greenery. Today, I am going to take you to the Kalsubai Peak, which is also known as the Everest of Maharashtra. This is what I get to see when I came out of the tent early in the morning. The sun is just rising, but the village woke up to the life much earlier than that. That is the case with most of the villages here. Bari village is not different. We arrived here from Harihar Fort yesterday evening and stayed the last night on the top of this house in the village. We got a good night of sleep. It was raining and windy outside at night, but as it was above the terrace, it did not affect the tent. We looked around early in the morning, hoping that the whole valley would be foggy by dawn. Instead, the atmosphere is very clear now. From here, we can see Kalsubai Peak, which we are going to climb today. In the early morning, the house owner offered us a cup of tea. A spicy tea with ginger and pepper and some other ingredients. He also runs a hotel here. Actually, this is a newly built house for the truckers. From the top of the house, we can see both sides of the village. A group of newly built houses on a hill next to the main road, and parts of the old villages on another hill a short distance away from here. Behind the village, Kalsubai Peak stands like a big mountain. From here, we can see several waterfalls and streams originating from these mountain ranges. By 8 o'clock, we started the trekking to the peak. Before climbing the hill, we had to cross this village. At the village entrance, you can see the main temple on your right. Behind it, there are many old houses built with wood and stone. All the newly built houses are on a hill near the main road. Perhaps it could be a prosperous farming village, but now they all have turned to decay. We crossed the village and started climbing the hill through the paddy fields. There are many small streams and waterfalls on the way up. Today the weather is favorable to us. No rain so far and the sky is very clear. So we can see the Kalsubai Peak from the base village itself. After crossing a stream near the village, we entered green paddy fields. This stream is an important source of water for these villagers. This water is used for washing clothes, dishes and bathing their cattle. During monsoon, this stream caters to all these farmlands and turns into small waterfalls. Once the monsoon is over, the stream and the surrounding paddy fields will dry up. During that time, the villagers have to depend on the borewells for their daily needs. Now the weather is changing and the mist is covering the peak. We are climbing the hill, enjoying the movement of the mist across these mountain peaks. This is a small temple on the way up to the hill. Its courtyard is really busy and crowded. Vendors have reserved themselves on its sides. Today many pilgrims from different places visit the temple on the Kalsubai Peak. Along the way up, you can find villagers selling puja items for these pilgrims. We bought some lemon candy from here. The path from here to the peak is very steep, and in this weather, the mouth gets quickly dried up while climbing. Eating lemon candy gives us a little relief while climbing. However, we should drink water periodically, otherwise, our body will get dehydrated so fast. Wherever you look, it's greenery in front of your eyes. Now the peak is covered in the mist and nothing else is visible. The problem with the mist is that we end up losing beautiful views from the peak. This hill has been cut into different small plots for cultivation. Paddy cultivation is the major occupation here. Now we have climbed the hill around 2 kilometers. We hope to reach the peak by noon and reach the base village by dusk. Let's take a break here for a while to enjoy this lush green landscape. This place offers astonishing view of the valley and the mountains ahead. We can see many waterfalls from here. These villages provide camping facilities for trekkers. There are many shops on the way up selling food and water. But the higher you go, the higher the price for the water. Today, we are also climbing this peak without carrying our backpacks and food. So, we have to depend on these shops. The view of the valley and the landscape from here is astonishing. We will come back to this place once again later and camp here enjoying these beautiful meadows in the valley and waterfalls in the mountain cliffs. We have taken breaks at multiple spots enjoying the beauty of these hill ranges. Kalsubai Peak is located at an altitude of 1646 meters from sea level. Today, the Kalsubai mountain and the nearby hill ranges are part of the Kalsubai Harishandragarh Wildlife Sanctuary. But there are no wild animals around here. So far today, we could see only a monkey. You can see long cliffs all over these mountain ranges. These hills also form the border of 2 taluks and 2 districts. Its northern part is Igatpuri taluk of Nashik district, but the southern part belongs to Akul taluk of Ahmednagar district. You can see steep rocks all over these mountain ranges. Climbing to the top of these peaks is a bit challenging. That's why many iron ladders are installed at different spots on the way up. In some of the places, the iron ladders have turned rusty and new ones are installed. Since Kalsubai Peak is a pilgrimage site, even elders and children are coming here to climb the peak. 5 or 6-year-old kids are climbing this peak without any fatigue. This is a viewpoint along the way up. From here, you can see views of the beautiful valley where we came from and lush green meadows along the valley. Also, the views of Bari village located on 2 separate hills. We can also see the house where we stayed yesterday. There are many paddy fields all over this valley and small huts here and there in the mountain. Now onwards, the trail is steep climb. Here, the steps are made with stones. In some other parts, the stairs are made by carving the rocks. In addition, many iron ladders are also placed on steep side of the mountain. There are many such ladders on the way up. I was wondering how the trekkers and pilgrims were climbing this peak before these iron ladders were installed here. With the increase in facilities, The number of adventurers coming to conquer the peak and the number of pilgrims reaching the upper temple have increased significantly. In proportion to that, the plastic bottles and bags they leave behind also increased. This problem can only be solved if each of these visitors decide not to litter the places. Regular trekkers come to see the places with all these things in mind. They look at these mountains and hills with good intention of keeping this beautiful nature intact for the next generation. So, the visitors should be made aware of the needs to protect these forests and the mountains. The views of the rocky pinnacle from this side are beautiful. The rocky soil is covered with green grass and shrubs. Occasionally, there are small springs and waterfalls. When the monsoon is over, all this will be quickly dried up. With the onset of the next monsoon, the hill and the mountain ranges will turn active again. Past a short walking distance from these sides, it is started to cover the mist all over the hill. The temperature is also started to lower. However, we kept on climbing in the hope that the mist would move away. Here, flowers are bloomed along the path. Most of them are white colored flowers. We can see different colors of flowers in the hill ranges of Sahyadri mountains, especially those with more than 1000 meters of altitude. The flowering starts in August. By September, all these plateaus and meadows will be covered in wild flowers. It is noon now and we are also very hungry. There is a shop just below the peak. We are having a lemon tea and onion fries from this shop and enjoying the mist moving below the peak. There is a small well near the shop. Let's fill the water bottles from here before climbing up. This area is also filled with blue flowers. We can see more wildflowers at Rathangad Fort where we are heading tomorrow. By end of September, the Rathangad Fort will be covered in yellow flowers and it attracts a large number of trekkers to the fort. By this time, the wall surrounding is covered in the thick mist. We can't see anything from here. We lost the hope to see the beautiful views from the summit, especially on the opposite side of the hill. Even though, let's summit and wait there for some time on the peak. Now we are climbing the last ladder to the Everest of Maharashtra. So once again we have conquered the Kalsubai Peak. After climbing the peak and resting here for a while, the mist moves away. Nearby ridges and parts of the Arthur Lake in the valley are getting visible now. This side of the valley is also astonishing and there are many lush green meadows. We can see many paddy fields and small houses in the valley. Also, many streams that originate from these hills are visible now. One side of this peak is a steep abyss. Therefore, we have to be very careful while walking around here. It was a hard climb to the summit. Let's take some rest here, enjoying the movement of clouds above the Arthur Lake. This is the famous temple on Kalsubai Peak. The temple is also known as Kalsubai Temple. A troop of monkeys is also waiting here for pilgrims to throw the coconuts near the temple. The view from the other side of the temple is breathtaking. From here, we can see green meadows and thick forest of this wildlife sanctuary. Also, a few more dams and lakes in the distance, which include Gadkar Dam, Bavali Dam and Batsa Reservoir. All these mountain ranges are a big catchment area for the Arthur Lake. Tomorrow we'll be going to Rathanwadi village along the shores of this Arthur Lake. We can see more views of the Arthur Lake tomorrow. There is a tale about this temple. It is believed that there was a girl named Kalsubai who lived on this mountain. At that time, she used to heal the villagers and their cattle when they are sick and help the villagers in their daily activities. One day, she went to this peak from the village and never came back. So for her memory, the villagers built a small temple beside her house and the main temple at this peak. That's how these mountains got the name Kalsubai. Clouds are flying over the peak, steep cliffs all around us, lush green meadows in the valley. After enjoying the mist and views from here, all the tiredness so far has gone. Kalsubai Peak is located at an elevation of 5,400 feet from sea level, and we have to climb around 6 kilometers from the base village to the summit. Let's sit here for a while, enjoying the beautiful views on both sides of the valley. We have to reach the base village by dark. Our original plan was to reach the Bandardara near the Arthur Lake this evening. From Bandardara we can reach Rathanwadi village and then to Rathangad Fort. But it will be better if we stay in the Bari village today instead of going to Bandardara, so we can charge our mobile and camera gears from the village. It may not be possible if we are camping somewhere in the Bandardara. So let's stay one more night in Bari village. Now we are going to descend from Kalsubai Peak. So far the weather was very favorable for us. Not a single drop of rain so far. That's why we are able to capture all these beautiful views of this hill range. When it rains, you can see many waterfalls over these hills. We will come back to this peak once again and we will camp somewhere near the peak. We want to see this beautiful landscape during sunset and sunrise. At the end of the monsoon, the whole area will be covered in yellow flowers. The clouds have cleared the valley and the sun is shining again on these mountain ranges. Now these mountain peaks looks amazing. Blue sky and green meadows. Also milky clouds forms various shapes in the sky. You can see many wind fields on the top of that hill. In the morning we have seen the same hill while watching the sunrise. Even though it's 4 o'clock, a lot of people are still climbing up. It's going to be very difficult for them to descend at night. There are no proper lights on the way back to the village. If it rains in the night, then it will be very challenging for them to descend these peaks using their mobile flashes. So always start trekking in the early morning and make sure you reach the base village by sunset. We have to descend a few more kilometers to reach the base village. There are many shops on the way selling tea and nimbu pani. We are also hungry now. We haven't eaten anything afternoon today. After reaching the base village, we will cook our dinner ourselves. We reached the base village around 6 pm. Today in the morning, we started trekking around 8 o'clock. Usually we don't take this many hours to trek and explore the Kalsubai Peak. From the base village, you can easily reach the peak in 3 to 4 hours and 2 more hours to get back to the village. But today, the weather was very favorable to us and we used this opportunity to record a lot of time-lapse videos of these mountain ranges. Now the sun has set and the villagers are busy in collecting the water for the night. We explored the village for some time and went back to the camp place. Let's stay here one more night. And tomorrow we will be moving to Ratangad Fort via Bandardara and Rathanwadi. You can reach the beautiful views of Ratangad Hills in the next episode.